Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Nedarim daf Mem Gimel. Mem Gimel really starts on Mem Beis on the Mishnah, with the last three lines of Mem Beis on Beis. Hamudra Nami Chaver Al Yishalenu Al Yisham Memenu Al Yilvenu Al Yilvem Memenu Al Yimkar Lo Al Yikach Memenu. I forbade Reuven from getting Hana from me, so he can't get benefit from me. I can't lend him money. I can't sell him something he wants, right? We say usually in a fair deal, right, the person who purchases something gets the advantage because the item is better than money, right? It's closer to Makari of Hanasa. You get more benefit from money, from an object than from money, if it's the object you wanted. And similarly, you can't borrow something from me because you're benefiting from me. Now, financially, you're benefiting from me. That's the understanding. Every time we're talking about Hana, we're talking about, usually we say Konam, standard and Nedarim with Konam, which is Kedushas, you're connected to a korban. It's like a korban, and they're financially benefiting from it. So when you get a loan, you're financially benefiting. People will sometimes will pay to get a loan, pay rivers to even get a loan, even though the Torah doesn't allow it. Borrowing something for free, you're getting a financial benefit. And buying something, also, you're getting a financial benefit because probably you'd pay more for this. You're happy to get it at whatever price you want. You want the item. So you're financially benefiting. The Gemara's problems. The problem is with our Mishnah is that not only does it forbid Ruvain from acquiring the object, from borrowing it, from lending money, from borrowing money, borrowing an object, or buying something. It also, the Mishnah says that I can, even though I'm not usher enough from Ruvain, I also can't borrow from him. I can't buy from him, and I can't borrow an object from him. So the question is, why not? I'm not benefiting financially. I'm not Asr b'Hana. Why can't I do these things, right? I benefit from him, but I'm not forbidden with Hana. So the Gemara has two answers. The Gemara says, first answer, we're talking about a case where they both forbade each other from getting Hana. So that's, so therefore I also can get enough from Reuben, so therefore I financially benefit from borrowing money, an object, or buying something from him. Abayi says, no. Abayi says, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a case of, again, Reuven is forbidden from me, but I'm not forbidden from Reuven, right? The reason I can't borrow from him an object or money or buy something is because I might, once we have a relationship, I might lend something to him. I might give him an object, and that would be a violation of the neder. Now, everything works out good. It's seemingly two valid answers. The problem is that the Gemara before this had some interesting questions. The Gemara has two questions. The Gemara starts off on top of Gilman Al, Bishlam Alo Yilvenu, the Kamahani lay. Right, I can't let him borrow money because he's financially benefiting. Right, people would even borrow with ribis. Ella Lo Yilvei Manu, my Kamahani lay. Right. I can't borrow money from him. How am I benefiting him? My right? And then where's the second question? Even if you'll say, it's like an intent shalom, even if you'll say, I can't borrow from him and I can't buy from him, that I'm benefiting from him, right? I mean, the Gemara first says it doesn't make any sense. Right? If he can't borrow, right, I can't lend him money. He can't get enough from me. So, of course, I could borrow money from him. And the Gemara says, maybe it is a hana for him if he lends me money. What's the hana in it if he lends me money? What is the hana over there? Right? Well, it's hard to understand the Gemara. Right? The Gemara says, even if you'll say, when I borrow money from him, or I buy an object from him, therefore he's benefiting from me somehow. He's benefiting from me. What are you going to say by borrowing an object? An object, I borrow a mixer, I borrow, a kitchen utensil that I'm going to return intact, right? How is he benefiting from me? So, what's going on over here? First, the Gemara assumed it's only a benefit if he borrows money from me, he borrows an object from me. And then the Gemara is saying, no, even if I borrow an object from him, I'm not Asr B'Hana. Only Abai introduced it, we're both Asr B'Hana. So what's going on over here? So I like to suggest over here. Having the Gemara assumes we're talking about financial benefit. The Gemara then introduces, even if you'll tell me no, then maybe the neder over here was not pekonam. It wasn't a financial neder. Like the Ran suggests, the two types of nedarim. There's a neder to get a materialistic, a physical hana from somebody. So therefore, maybe I can understand, right? I can understand I can't lend him money because he's getting a financial benefit. I also can't borrow money from him because it's a concept, even though financially, right? Um, when I'm borrowing money from him, he's not benefiting financially. Right? He doesn't benefit at all financially. He doesn't have control over the money for as long as the loan is. He might never get the money back. But however, there is a materialistic benefit in the fact that a physical benefit, or just Eved lovel ish malva. Someone who borrows money from someone is considered an Eved. You're considered someone who's a slave to that person. And basically, when you take money from somebody else or bought by that person, you got to do their wishes. So it'll accrue eventually physical benefits. Like you'll do niceties. You'll give him gratuities. You'll give him favors. Favors. You're indebted for favors to that guy. And similarly, when he sells you something, right? Even though normally you're the one getting the object, you're getting the benefit. Again, he was a nice one to sell it to you. So you have a certain indebtedness to the guy for doing you a favor. He's doing you a favor by selling you something. However, the Gemara says when I borrow something, borrowing something is so commonplace. I borrow an object, right? Neighbors borrow from each other. It doesn't mean you have to do favors to the person. So the Gemara finally answers. I'm going to so according to this, the Gemara is suggesting, right? We're talking about not just a financial hana. We're talking about maybe actually a materialistic hana, being indebted to someone, someone have to do favors for you. So he answers according to Yosef Rechanina, which is the main answer. Abai says second answer, but really the main answer is Yosef Rechanina, where it's a case where not only did I say Reuven can't get enough from me, but I also can't get enough from Reuven. And when we both answer each other b'hana, right? When we both answer each other b'hana, so it's one level higher. I can't get enough from you, you can't get enough from me. So therefore, if you let me borrow an object, you let me borrow your stove, let me borrow a kitchen utensil or something like that, a sieve or whatever. So in that case, even though normally if he can't get enough from me and I borrow something from him, maybe I'm not indebted to him because it balances out, right? It balances out in that case because, right, he's not supposed to get enough from me. So he's going to let me borrow something. So obviously he did something to me which caused me to take a neder. I was upset at him for something. I took a neder. You just can't get enough from me. So it evens it out when he lets me borrow an object, right? However, if they both took hana zemizeh, so when I borrow an object from somebody, we're both angry at each other, so that's the Gemara concedes. Then, of course, just like borrowing money or buying something, which is a bigger hana, and there's indebtedness of having to repay the favor. If we both are angry at each other and I borrow an object from somebody, of course there is. Of course, I have to do a favor to repay that, right? If he lets me borrow an object, he comes to my door and knocks on my door and says, "Can I borrow a mixer?" Right? So I have to. Next time, he comes to my door, I'm gonna have to give him that mixer also. So I'm indebted to him for that favor. You can be indebted for favors also, not just for a loan of money, also for borrowing objects. The Gemara said until this point, we're thinking about only one person's asur b'hana. No, so therefore it balances out, right? You're giving me an object to borrow, which is a small favor, which balances out against the anger that I had for the hana. However, once we're both asur b'hana, so that balances out. So therefore, of course, if I borrow something, an object, I'm indebted for that favor, and that's what we're talking about, materialistic hana, and that's the main focus of this mission. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.